have two different size bags that we use for packaging our hanging garments. One is short and one is long. So you want to make sure you're choosing the appropriate bag when you're hanging. So we're going to do the short one. The short one works for tops. And if you are doing a dress or something that's like a tunic, you typically will use the longer bag. So I am going to grab our bag, pull it over the top of the garment. It has a hole in the top of it already and it's perforated to tear. It's very, very easy. We're going to use our twist tie to bind our hangers together. And as we've talked about a lot through the series, it's really important that you tag everything. So when you're tagging this to go out to the customer, you're going to tag the top of the ticket as well as the bottom. We're going to pull our garment bag over the top and hang it for customer pickup and for recording. What you want to make sure you've done as you were folding and stacking your clothes is you were lining up your edges, because that's going to be how your clothes are going to end up being put into your bag. And so you can see the edges of the pants are lined up, our tops, more t-shirts here, our tank tops and underwear, and of course our towels and sheets. That's going to make packaging easier and it's going to make it look a lot better. So what I've done is I've pretty much separated the clothes into the bags I believe they're going to go into. We work with 3 different size bags most of the time. You're going to have a 20-gallon bag, a 30-gallon bag, 40 gallons, and then in extreme situations where we have huge comforters, we're going to use a 55-gallon bag. Typically, when we're folding clothes, we're focusing in on a 20-gallon bag and a 30-gallon bag. Once you start moving into the 40-gallon, it's really when you're really focused in on doing comforters. Like regular size comforters and blankets and so forth can go into the 40-gallon bags. Otherwise, 20 and 30 should get you what you need. So I've chosen this stack to show you how we'll put them into a 20-gallon bag. So I'm going to put those there. T-shirts, shirts, any types of tops, they actually fit really well into a 20-gallon bag. And you may be thinking to yourself, how is that possible? But I'm going to show you. The other thing that's great for 20-gallon packaging are the kids' clothes. When we're doing small children's clothes and we're using the small flip and fold, they actually will create 2 rolls or columns here inside of the bag. But for adult size clothes or large kids clothes, you're going to have 1 straight stack. The great thing about these bags, and the thing you want to remember, is they actually have a square bottom. So you're not putting them into something that has a straight edge on the bottom. It has a square bottom. Pay attention to that. It's going to make your packaging a lot easier. So now I have my t-shirts here. I'm going to take my tank tops and try to create kind of a level top with our tanks. Now, what's important is that you don't create a pyramid when you're creating your stack. So this actually looks pretty good. So if we're putting all of these into the final bag where everything's together, or we're stacking them up for the customer, you don't have things falling over. They're in there pretty well. Now, we want to make sure that we secure our bags and secure our clothes in the bag. This is where you want to get your air out of the bag. So I'm basically kind of just laying on the bag a little bit and getting the air out. Don't wrinkle your clothes up when you're doing this, but lay on it. Pay attention to what your final product is looking like. Now, what I'm doing here is what we call our peachy tie. We're going to twist the bag. We tie with twine. We never, ever put a knot in anything. We want to make this a beautiful package and an easy package for customers to take their clothes out of. so we never put knots in. So I have it twisted. This is going to help us keep the air in. I've taken my twine and I'm tying it at the base. Now I'm going to take the twisted part, lay it over flat. Now I'm going to tie a bow, just like you're tying your shoestring or a bow in a little girl's hair. And no knots in the bag, no knots in the twine, and that's what our package looks like. I want to show you an example of using one of the larger bags. We're going to use our 30-gallon bag for this set. I'm going to open my bag and create my base. Remember, it's a square bottom on these bags. And you can see that I put my sweatshirt on the bottom. That's my biggest, bulkiest item in terms of the tops, and it creates a nice secure base. So I'm going to put my shirts in, push them over to one side of the bag, and now I'm going to put in my bottoms. And this is a 30-gallon, so you can see the difference between using a 30-gallon bag and a 20-gallon bag just in the width itself, and it's actually taller. Now theoretically we could put all of those clothes into this 30-gallon bag, but I wanted you to see an example of doing both. I'm going to take my underwear, put those right there on top. The other set, looks like they'll fit right there on that end. Grab my twine and cut a piece. You want to cut that before you get the air out. Otherwise, you have to let it go and start all over again. And again, be aware of how you're squeezing your bag to get your air out. How about that? I think that looks pretty good. Now, I am going to twist the bag to secure the air in the bag as much as possible. No knots. Knots are not peachy. They're not peachy. Tie it. Fold it over. Tie a bow that the customer can easily release. And if they can easily release the bow, that means they can reuse this bag in some way. And that's what that should look like in the end. It's gorgeous. I also have my towels that are here and my sheets. I think I'm going to put those in a 30-gallon bag. They might be able to fit into a 20 as well, or we could package them with some other clothes if we had them. But we're going to put these in there. It's not going to squeeze them too much. Let's see, how is that looking? I may have to do some adjusting here. I'm going to turn them around. I think that looks much better. And then we're going to tie these together. Get my air out. Make sure they look good once they're in there. Uh-oh, I didn't cut my twine before I did it. So this is what happens. I'm holding it. Look, I've done it a few times, trust me. And so I was able to do it without having to release my twist on my bag. So I love this part of the process because I'm thinking about what the customer is going to experience when they pull their clothes out. And they're all packaged together in what I feel like is a really pretty package, but it's almost like a gift, right? When you have this and you didn't have to do it yourself. We did it all for you. So here's our order for this customer. What do you think? I think that's great. And they're all ready to go. We'll label these, get them in the customer's bag for delivery, and hopefully when they open it, they'll have a peachy day.